Live, local, now. This is WIS News 10.
Right now at 5:30, Alberto approaching the U.S. mainland. A live look at the radar right now showing South Carolina and the rest of the Southeast in for a wet holiday Memorial Day.
Well, right now, though, let's dive into that first alert forecast. Tim Miller joins us now. I left my umbrella right by the door last night.
Smart
so
lady.
I'd be prepared coming in this morning.
Yeah, that's a smart move. You're going to need that all day today.
Yep.
All right, for sure. Well, we'll start our Memorial Day Monday by talking about what we have been talking about all weekend, right? And that's Alberto. Here is the latest at 4 o'clock this morning. Wind speeds are at 65 miles per hour. Now, here, that's 9 miles per hour shy of a hurricane. But notice the huge center here in this. This is a hot mess. This is why this is subtropical. There's a little colder air involved in this, so the whole core of the storm's not warm, right? So it's not officially tropical. Plus, you don't have storms really around the center of this thing. So look at how that's several hundred miles, I'd say, wide as an eye. So, or it's not even an eye, as a center of the storm. Therefore, it is subtropical. But that really doesn't matter. You're splitting hairs here because you could still get all the effects of a tropical storm, including flooding, riptides, very heavy rain, and the possibility of tornadoes. Look where the heaviest rain is. Boom, right over South Carolina. And that's going to be the case pretty much for today, as we have a ton of moisture feeding in here, not only from the storm itself, but also high pressure from the east bringing in moisture. So we're double whammied here on either side. And all that means for us is a lot of rain. If you've walked outside this morning, you can feel the tropical air outside, right? And we certainly have these bands of heavier rain. Now, we will have some thunderstorms certainly possible today, but what we'll mostly see is our opportunities of heavy rain. So here is the latest. As of 5 o'clock this morning, there's the coordinates moving northwest at 7. The thinking is it will make landfall this afternoon here in the panhandle of Florida. They continue up into parts of Alabama. Now, we're on the right side of this. The center basically is somewhat far away from us, but still nonetheless, this is the bulk of the rain. And when you get on the right side of these storms, the potential of a tornado threat is there. Here is the rain. It continues to move from south to north, and that'll be the case throughout today. Coming up, I'll show you hour by hour what we could expect with this storm, not only today, but coming up for the rest of the week as well. As far as traffic's concerned this morning, we can get a look here at the roadways. This is I-26. Mile marker 104, that's near Harbison. It is a holiday. Roadways are certainly wet, and you'll notice everything at the moment is running fine without any issues or delays on any of the roadways so far. That's the good traffic. We'll have more on our forecast and traffic coming up.
All right, Tim, that's some good news there. We have first alert team coverage for you this morning on this changing forecast. Vaughn Gaskin up early with us today.
That's right. She's live right now in Orangeburg, where rain has been falling for the last several hours, she said. Do we know of any flooding concerns yet, Vaughn?
Good morning, everyone. So far, Emily, I haven't seen any major issues with flooding. Driving in, you do see a lot of water on the roads. It is starting to pool on the sides. Of course, if you know those low areas which are flood prone, those are the areas that will get aggravated first. We're at this location because it's right across from the Edisto Memorial Gardens and near Stonewall Jackson Boulevard. That's because it is an area that flooded out a little over a week ago. So this is an area that could quickly see some flooding concerns because you think about it, we've already had several hours of rain. The ground is already saturated, so it will only take one good burst of rainfall for us to see another flooding situation here. We do see a lot of rain on the map. Of course, we've been looking at the radar. It looks heavier than it is. This rain has been more slow and steady for the last several hours. But again, if we get one of those big bursts, we could see some flooding issues. So far, so good. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the situation from right here in Orangeburg.
A crime alert in Orangeburg County, where deputies are looking for the driver responsible for a deadly hit and run. Investigators tell us it happened on Ellis Avenue near Redmond Street Saturday morning. The vehicle involved is believed to be a Dodge Challenger with a model year between 2008 and 2014. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. Meanwhile, the search is still on for a murder suspect who escaped from the Orangeburg County Detention Center 1 week ago. Curtis Green is one of 3 suspects who officials say broke out of the jail last Saturday. He'd been arrested for a 2015 murder. The other 2 escaped inmates have already been captured.
Happening around the Midlands today for Memorial Day. A tribute to Vietnam veterans, and Governor McMaster is taking the Columbia chapter of Vietnam Veterans of America, and they'll put on a ceremony today at Columbia's Memorial Park. You may have visited the Vietnam Memorial located there. Today's ceremony begins at 1 o'clock, and there is parking there at the park. President Trump will lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier today. The president will continue the annual White House tradition of the Memorial Day wreath laying at Arlington National Cemetery. Afterward, he will make remarks to remember U.S. military soldiers and troops who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Well, it's been a pricey weekend at the pump. My goodness, it sure has. I had to fill up, didn't feel too good. But even more so when you compare it to this time last year. Memorial Day gas prices coming up.
That makes it hurt even more. And some things you can't forget before you fire up that grill today.
True. Well, we're firing up the possibility of strong to severe storms, marginal risk of severe weather today. And that will also translate, I think, into tomorrow as well. Look at that. So we'll continue to watch what is going to be a stormy next couple days. Your forecast is straight ahead.
You might have had a little sticker shock at the pump. Gas prices are up more than 30% compared to Memorial Day last year. Now, we checked this morning. AAA is reporting the national average has soared to nearly $3 a gallon. That's the highest for the holiday since 2014. South Carolina, though, as always, doing a little bit better at $2.65.
Right, as everyone is traveling. And something to think about before you fire up that grill today. The National Fire Protection Association says there are more than 9,000 home fires each year involving barbecue grills. We were talking about National Hamburger Day about 15 minutes ago, so pay attention to this. Safety experts recommend cleaning your grill racks and trays before cooking your hamburgers and hot dogs. And it's especially important to keep young children away from the hot grill.
Yes, it looks so good though, but be careful while you're preparing that good food. And don't risk it also when it comes to bacteria, salmonella for instance. Bacteria can multiply quickly in those hot environments, that humid weather we're seeing. The USDA says a safe cookout always begins with clean hands, and be sure to use different cutting boards for raw meats and your vegetables, and also be sure to use that meat thermometer. You gotta have it all the way finished.
Well, domination on the racetrack, a Memorial Day weekend tradition up at Charlotte Motor Speedway. NASCAR's Kyle Busch sets a record as he takes home the checkered flag in the Coca-Cola 600. There were hundreds of military personnel and their families in attendance last night, and each driver had the name of a fallen soldier on their windshield. With the win, Busch became the first driver in NASCAR history to win a race at every track on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit. So very cool.
Impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Well, coming up, a Midlands High School senior is using his passion to overcome a tough childhood.
The big step he's set to take this fall as he pursues a career in dance. A good news story for you, getting a lot of attention on our WIS webpage. A Midlands teen is accepted into one of the best performing arts programs in the country. Robert Mason was accepted into Juilliard, and we got the chance to sit down with him and talk about his road to the Big Apple from South Carolina. Well, he says he was born actually in Bronxton, New York, and from the very beginning faced a mountain of challenges, abandoned by his mother as a newborn at the hospital, just one of those challenges. Robert was eventually taken in by his grandmother, who moved the family to the Palmetto State. He says he discovered dance at 9 years old and stuck with it. Robert says it was his mentors at the Governor's School for the Arts and Humanities in Greenville who encouraged him to audition for Juilliard.
I went to the gym about 3 to 4 times a week, on top of having academics to do, rehearsals and all these other things and homework, you know, and it all paid off. Coming from when I was born, going through all these situations in my life, you know, being brought down and then being lifted back up, and I was like, it's...
Wow, well, Robert found out at the end of April about his acceptance into Juilliard, and he'll be heading there this fall. You can read the full story right now at WIS-TV.com.
Right now, you can sign your child up to attend a free summer camp hosted by Grammy Award-winning artist Pharrell Williams. To find out more information and how to register, click on this story on PalmettoWeekend.com. No word yet on if Pharrell will be present at the camp.
I sure hope so. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if he's there, and definitely for the kids.
Absolutely.
Very nice opportunity.
All right, it's 5:54 and some birthdays to celebrate on this Monday, Memorial Day holiday.
Happy birthday to my name twin, Emily, turning 8 today. Happy birthday, Emily.